do it fast. Right here on the Anycast. Make it strong, make it last. Right here on the Anycast.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm really excited today. We were just talking before we got going here that we've been in the industry basically equally as long, and somehow we've never actually crossed paths. So really exciting to get a chance to chat today. I'm here with Olga Kornienko. She is one of the co-founder of EZDRM. Olga, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for organizing all of this.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to our chat.
Me too. Even though we don't know what we're going to talk about, we'll figure it out.
I think that's how the best conversations happen.
That's how my whole life happens. So conversations as well. Before we get started, though, I don't want to leave people without an intro, and I'm not the best person to do it. So real quick, can you give us where you came from, how you got here in 2026? What do we need to know about Olga before we get started?
So, as you said, my name's Olga Kornienko. I'm the co-founder and COO of EZDRM. EZDRM is a hosted managed video security as a service company. We have been around we actually just celebrated our 23rd birthday a couple of days ago. So we've been around for quite some time. And we started out with Windows Media DRM way back when in 2003, and have grown it to a company that is that's involved in a lot of different video security projects, and we've touched upon Provenance and C2PA lately, and looking to solve other video security solutions with some out-of-the-box thinking.
All right. We'll try and find the box, and then we'll try and figure out how to get out of it. Given you've been in this industry since its infancy, basically, sort of looking around today, is there anything that feels fundamentally different from even say like 2 or 3 years ago that's really changed the way we do things in the streaming space?
Well, from the place where we sit, I think the biggest difference is anything video security and DRM used to be more of we don't talk about it, we have to do it because we need to, and we don't really want to do it. But, a studio's twisting our hands, so we kind of have to. That used to be the conversation we were having a few years ago. I think sports rights are bringing more of the conversation around video security and piracy to the surface, because lately the conversations have been a lot more open. People have been a lot more, not fully, but more comfortable talking about the issues that they're currently experiencing. We're still in the point where, and I get it, people don't want to talk about security. They don't want to talk about problems they're having, because now you're admitting to issues, and sometimes it's hard to put a number on all of that. But I feel like the direction is shifting, and people are a lot more comfortable talking about where they sit as far as their security approach to all of their content.
Yeah, I see that too. I would say I always felt like DRM for people was like a 4-letter word, and they really didn't want to talk about it. And even when they did, they would say it somewhat sheepishly. Like when we talk to people about, what are you doing for authentication and authorization? They go, we sort of do DRM, But that was 4 or 5 years ago. That's the way people talked about it. Today, I find most people we talk to, they're very upfront and center about it, and it's a core part of their strategy when it comes to content, I guess I would say. And I hadn't thought about the sports angle, but I always understood it to be something that was important because it was contractually important to them.
Well, it is contractually important, and I don't know if I've seen it, but I've definitely heard of cases of companies contacting a DRM provider saying, hey, we need to get a contract. You get a contract, and then you never hear from them again. And then a studio goes, hey, is this a customer? And you're like, yes. And they're like, okay. But there's no conversation about the fact that there's 0 licenses being issued. So yes, they're a customer. Yes, they have a contract with DRM. I've personally never seen it, but I've definitely heard people in the industry talking about it. Whereas now we get customers who are like, okay, I've tested it on this, and this. It works here. It doesn't work here. Why is that? Well, because this browser has these limitations. Okay, how do I correct that? Like a lot more of a conversation. And it's actually kind of cool because, you don't want to feed pirates, your breakfast, lunch, and dinner for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
Yeah. do you see people, from an adoption standpoint, again, to me, I sort of see like the technical limitations, to your point, are overcomable. You just need to sort of do the initial work. So do you see the adoption happening now? Is that just the businesses maturing? Is it something technical? Is it something business related? Like, why do you see the evolution of that and people taking it more seriously?
I do think it's around, I mean, part of it is contractual, like you said. That is never going to go away. But part of it is also companies taking a beat and going, okay, like sports companies. We are paying X amount for our rights. Like, we don't want to throw money out the window, literally, is what it is. Because I forget what the numbers are and they constantly change, but I've heard of like 5 billion that is being lost within the sports industry or like crazy numbers like that. But I guess the big part of this conversation is that the numbers keep changing.
Right.
Nobody can ever put a price on those, like on actual content theft. And I guess it's hard because if you think about it, like let's say a sports league, I don't know, NBA, if they license their content to 5 different providers and one of them is leaked, it affects 4 others, right? So how do you account for that one that's leaked and the other 4 that are now getting the eyeballs that they should be and the revenue from either the streaming service or the ad revenue or whatever that they should be? So it is a hard number to pin down. Um, but I think sports are driving it a lot more, mostly because we all know how much sports rights and all those contract negotiations actually what those numbers are.
In terms of DRM, thinking out loud about operationally, key rotation, stuff like that, those are sort of well, yeah, it's easy to set it up, but what happens when, what does it look like operationally though? Like, what are the challenges that people are going to have trying to do that on their own?
So I think the funniest part is when something goes wrong, it's the DRM's fault. Yet again, I've talked to a person from a company, a player company, and they're like, "Oh no, it's always the player's fault." I'm like, "It's always our fault," from what I've heard. I don't know about you guys, but maybe it's also always the CDN's fault.
Generally, the
Yeah.
good news is everybody's multi-CDN, so they don't know which CDN's fault it is yet. But
Well, I think that's the. I mean, at the end of the day, we are in a multi DRM, multi cloud, multi everything world. Is how we run our infrastructure. Um, You might have problems in one part of the world that you don't have problems in another part of the world. And if you are a company that is a broadcaster that is in the US and you are trying to use the US infrastructure and something goes awry, um, if you don't have the infrastructure in the rest of the world, then you're stuck. Whereas if you have the infrastructure in the rest of the world, that you can always go, well, let me switch them over. And then once this gets fixed, then, whatever. There's a lot to it, and we hide all the dirty little secrets and all the difficult stuff behind the scenes. um but yes, it is a lot of work. It is a lot of making sure that all the infrastructure is set up, and yeah, we can set it up everywhere. um that's not a problem, but operationally it takes a lot of behind the scenes work to make sure that you're up to date on all of the rules and stuff with Whitevine and Fair Play and Play Ready and Clear Key and everything else that you need to do.
yeah, is there something like you said, you've been around since the early 2000s? Is what got you out of bed then still what gets you out of bed today? And or if not, what genuinely excites you about the industry today?
I think what got me out of bed in the beginning was the novelty of the technology. What gets me out of bed today is are the projects that we're working on, and knowing that we have an impact that allows certain content to be, I'm being very careful, certain content to be out there for people to see. And granted, it could be a different vendor, of course, it could be somebody else, but knowing the projects that we're involved in, um, I'm the person who gets excited about being involved with a specific sporting event or a specific fast channel or what have you, because I feel like if I ever get to the point where I'm jaded and I say, who cares? We deliver content. It's just a movie or whatever. Shoot me. Because I never want to be in an industry where it is entertainment and it is, date night or catching up with his favorite sports team or something that should bring joy. And I like the fact that my company is involved with delivering that joy and delivering that happy experience. And I never want to be in a position where I say, who cares? The moment I say, who cares, I should retire. I think that's what gets me up in the morning.
And that, my friends, is how you end a podcast. Olga, thank you so much. This was great. EZDRM, assuming people smart enough to figure out how to download the show will be smart enough to find the website. Thank you again. This was great.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
This is different, another round, so much more to talk about. Gonna aim to satisfy with help from CacheFly. Get to it fast. Right here on the Anycast. Make it strong, make it last. Right here on the Anycast. The Anycast podcast, brought to you by CacheFly.